Next thing is insights before implementation. The first thing, you have to be an average or better offensive team to make this work. If you're not an average football team, then you're just going to lengthen the game, you're going to beat worse. But if you're just at least average, pick up some first downs and score some points, this definitely is for you. You do not have to be a passing team to make this thing work. You could run the wishbone, the wing tee, the run and shoot. Remember, it's a philosophy. It's not an actual offense. We've thrown for all kinds of amounts of yards and had some great quarterbacks. This past year, we ran the football probably 75% of the time and was real successful, ended up going to the state championship game. So it does not make any difference what your offense is. You can still, it's a philosophy and you can make it work. Now, one thing here, you can't worry about time of possession. I know that old coaches, field position, time possession, this is thrown out the window. We're just concerned about offensive snaps. You can look, we had 4 state championship games in a row. You can look at the different time possession. 97, we lost 54-30. We had the ball for 13-28. 98, we won 49-14. We had it for 15-27. 99, we won 47-35. Had it for 14-13. In 2000, we got beat 30-29. Had it for 16-31. So you can kind of see that it doesn't make any difference about time possession. They're real pretty close. The wins, loss, it's just number of snaps. In 98, I believe we had the ball for 8 minutes and 22 seconds of a 48-minute game, end up winning 42-21. So time possession doesn't mean a thing to us. Next point, can't worry about defensive stats. And this is big because I know in our profession, defensive coordinators, the way they move up to head coaches or move up to other jobs is through defensive stats. But, and my defense coordinator was the same way at very first in 97, the first year. But after he saw the advantage it gave us, and now he's wearing a few rings, I would definitely say that he'd say it's the best move we ever made. But at first he was real apprehensive, and I understand that. So you just have to talk to your defense coordinator and understand that you're lengthening the game to 5 quarters, so the stats, you just got to readjust your defensive stat chart. The next is players have to be in great shape. Our guys, we run the same amount week 1 all the way to week 14. And the reason I think this is if you think about a track runner and he's gearing up for the state championship, he's not going to slow down at the end like a lot of football teams do. So we kind of use that same philosophy. We want to be in great shape. We're going to practice the hurry up at a fast pace in all of our drills. And at the very end, we're going to run gassers and do some different things. If your kids buy into being in great shape, and the first time they see it as such an advantage, then you won't have to worry about other guys, your players running hard at the end of practice or during practice. Next point, offensive staff has to be prepared to make quick decisions. Now, our offensive staff's not smarter than anybody else's, but the advantage we feel like we have is we are used to thinking quick. We do have a system we'll be talking about here in just a minute where it's a fairly organized system where a play caller, an offensive coordinator, running game coordinator all gets together and also with a booth coach. The next point, you have to be committed to it. At the very first, it may be some growing pains for some of you. And I really think the main thing, it's easy for kids, but as coaching staff, it's a little bit of a challenge to get yourself out of your comfort zone. And I think the more you do it, it's like anything else, the better you're going to get at it. Okay, the next thing we're going to cover is communication. And your current system of whatever your plays are called, numbers or names or whatever, there's a couple questions that you're going to have to ask yourself before switching to this philosophy to be able to signal plays in and for all the communication to work like it should. So the first question that I'd ask myself before going to the hurry up no-huddle is, will you be able to call all your plays from the sideline? And so I would think through that. Also, will you be able to audible any play into your offense at a quick pace? And then the last question I ask myself, can you make these calls without giving the defense any indication of what play is about to be executed? And if those 3 questions, if you can't answer yes to each one of them, then you're going to have to sit down and change the way you call the plays and all that. So, naming of the plays. The first thing I would do if I couldn't answer yes to all 3 is I would choose a theme. And in choosing a theme needs to be simple for the players to remember and to relate to. It should not be too detailed or too confusing. The next one, the theme needs to be taught with a word association that is easy for your players to understand and remember. The best way for your players to memorize and then recall your system is for them to be able to associate a theme with another idea. The theme needs to have a relationship, some relationship within itself in order for play-action passes to complement running plays. The theme must allow verbal commands to be interpreted with physical motions by the signaler, and the theme must be flexible enough to expand in the future for necessary. When we first started out the first year at Shiloh Christian, our theme, we were a private Christian school. So we were thinking, what would be best for our kids? Well, we knew they knew the Bible. They were at a Christian school, so what we did is we changed all of our plays to Bible characters. And so our theme was actually the Bible, and then we used different characters with the stories, figuring they already knew those, and that was the easiest thing for us. So a couple little examples here. The old running play was a 46-47 power. We changed that to Moses. Now that sounded weird at first, but it took about 2 practices where it was actually normal. Then, so Moses was our outside power play. Our play action off of that we called Egypt, okay? And we told the kids the association Moses led God people out of Egypt. So it was real simple. We signaled in Moses, that was our outside power. If we wanted to go power pass off of it, we'd signal in Egypt. It was real simple for a signal for Moses. It was real simple for a signal for Egypt. Also, the next and last example, our counter, we called David. 44-45 counter, we called David. And the waggle pass off that, the counter pass, we called giant. Well, our kids all knew David killed the giant. Now, your theme can be anything from NFL teams, states, capitals, anything that you think that would be easy for your kids to understand and also for your coaches to understand. And it was kind of fun, going through this process and trying to think of a theme, and it makes you think a little bit as coaches and try to be creative. And so it was a lot of fun. So I would choose a theme, and I would go with it, and I would change my plays over to be able to signal in all your plays. And these points that we just covered, make sure that your theme fits and all your signals fit within these points.